Hello, my beautiful people. This is not my usual setup. I am on vacation, but I was called to do a quick reading, so here we are. I pulled the card that pulled itself is the Child Within Oracle card from the Rose Oracle. All decks I use are always linked below in the description. I'm sorry for all the shadows in this reading. This is, as mentioned before, a very quick, I don't even have a computer with me, so this is a very DIY on the run reading, but nevertheless, there is a message here that wants to be heard, so let's get into it. The Oracle card in and of itself brings the message of caring for your inner child, doing the things that your inner child is calling you to do, letting go of the seriousness and the constant need for control and productivity, action, doing something constantly. That is what the society praises, but we must have balance in our lives, and this message so far is bringing forth, highlighting the importance and necessity of being gentle with ourselves and remembering that rest and activities that have nothing to do with being productive or checking off any to-do lists, that these moments are equally as important as the career goals, the constant the need for being productive and perfect and doing the right thing, constantly questioning whether you're good enough right now in this moment. All of these thoughts and feelings are exposing the imbalance, and when we take a moment and reflect, we can realize and find what we need more of. So for instance, if we feel stressed, this means that we need rest. If we feel tense, that is our body giving us a sign that it needs to be either massaged or stretched or just needs sleep. And so even things that have nothing to do with productivity can be extremely productive. For instance, just going to the beach or going for a walk in nature, or just simply going outside is equally as productive as crossing off that one to-do list activity, because it's all about balance. We're not on this earth to constantly be in constant work mode. That's not humans were not designed to constantly run towards goals non-stop. There has to be a give and take. You know, you ask your body for some things, but you also have to take care of it. You ask yourself to do certain things, but you also have to listen to what that inner voice is saying and not ignore it. And this depiction of a mother and a child it's so helpful to imagine that inner voice being your inner child, calling out to you what it needs, and it needs attention. It needs attention, and it is very helpful to imagine it as like this separate being, although it's not separate. It is you. It's that inner you, that child self that needs equal as much attention as all the other roles you're playing in your life, all the other things you have to be in this life, or you choose to be. We can't escape this inner voice, and when we treat it as this imaginary separate person, then it can be easier to in my experience, to take responsibility for oneself and take self-care seriously. When you imagine that there being an actual inner child calling for attention, you obviously would never want to ignore an innocent child, whilst we tend to so easily ignore our own needs and let society's expectations swallow us whole sometimes. And that's what being a mother to your inner child means, being gentle and tender. You can be firm, and discipline is actually something that brings balance to life, because when you're disciplined in your self-care, you get best of both worlds. When you're fully rested, you have loads of energy to invest in your work, and when you have been productive in your work, it's so much nicer and easier to enjoy when you have that free time, opposed to never really doing anything, because then it's not as obvious that there is this vacation or this free time, right? The opposition is necessary, so because it supports each other, right? You can't see the light without the dark, and you can't realize and understand the dark without the light being in your reality. So this is ultimately about balancing your relationship with yourself, with your inner child, being more playful, allowing yourself be more ridiculous and joyful and laugh and be silly and all that without judgment. Wow, okay, so there was a lot that came out now with this one oracle card. I will ask Spirit to give us some tarot cards as well. So we have the Hermit, definitely tending to that inner light, that inner voice, listening to yourself. Close your eyes and introspection, silence your environment so that you can hear your inner voice more clearly. And with that, I don't mean literally necessarily silence your environment, but just disconnect a little bit, because there's been an overwhelming focus on what's going on around you, and what's going on within you has been lacking that attention, and you need to tend more to what's going on within you, because ultimately, to level up, to reach higher vibrations, a higher state of being, it's through within. What exists in your reality, how you feel in your everyday life, how much fulfillment, how much joy, how much happiness, how much peace, how much conflict, how much exhaustion, how much anger, how much overwhelm you experience. It's all of that is created from within, including what exists in your what exists in your reality, that is material as well, because that is energy as well, and everything you see and experience is created from and through your subconscious mind. And we can't control everything, but what we can do is follow our intuition and listen to our inner guidance. And that is very, very crucial for you right now, to find that laughter, to find that joy. Do something you liked and loved to do as a child. Just take a break from that tension and that going and doing. Let your shoulders down. Take a deep breath and just take a moment of complete silence, and whatever you're feeling, whatever thoughts come up, whatever you're feeling in your body, whatever voices in your what your inner voice is telling you, no matter what is going on around you and within you, just be in this moment with no judgment, and see how that feels, because that's what it's all about. It's not about silencing the mind, silencing the body, silencing the outer noise, silencing the inner voice. It's about non-judgment, letting it flow, letting it be, letting it come, letting it go. That's how we reach that flow, and that's how we reach that balance, when we stop being too controlling, and when we don't attach too much to certain thoughts, emotions, states of being. When we can return, I'll say this, when we can return our focus to our breath in the most joyful, as well as in the most stressful, as well as in the most mundane moments, that is all you need to develop sustainable connection to yourself and a relationship with yourself that is co-creating with that ego and with that constant thinking mind. So what I mean is that we can't get rid of our ego, But we do know that we also have our higher self, and they both are needed. They are oppositions. Without one, we couldn't clearly see the other, and vice versa. But they must be in balance. Neither can be ignored and neither can be rejected. And that's in that neutrality, that's where we find our peace and our balance and our flow. Okay. Any more tarot cards, please, Spirit? Okay, a lot that's wanting to come out. Okay. Thank you. So, wow, okay. So we have, let's see if I can just move. I wanted this in the middle, but it'll be on the side. We have the Moon, we have the Four of Wands, and we have the Ten of Cups. All right, the Moon, the intuition. Yes, so there's a lot of noise that is going on, and you may be feeling frustrated. The path may seem like it has overwhelming changes, overwhelming ups and downs, uncertainty even, and it can be really tiring. But as I said, we don't shut it down, we learn to move with it. Just like in the ocean with the waves, the more you fight the waves, the more unpleasant your experience is. The more you let the waves come toward you, if you've been in the sea or the beach in big waves, you'll know that the more you agree and accept the flow, even when you feel like your feet are being dragged backwards, when you accept it and you let it happen, and then the wave comes and then you're moved forward, or the other way around, the more you move with the water, the smoother the experience and the more pleasant the experience. The experience becomes suddenly extremely pleasant, opposed to being very resistant to the movement of the water. And life is all about change, and life is all about growth and development and moving on, moving away, moving, physically, emotionally, in the sense that our emotions need to be moved. We can't keep them. We can't store them. I mean, we can, but it does no good to store emotions. They must be accepted. And this is where our inner mother comes in, with being gentle and non-judgmental and letting whatever is be in terms of emotions, letting them flow, letting them come, letting them go, loving ourselves despite and because of all that we are experiencing within us, loving and accepting ourselves. There is an ending. You're so close to an ending or a lesson, or like a test. You're like at the edge of it. 10 of Cups. This is emotional intelligence. It is joyfulness, all the pleasant feelings that you love to experience. But we can't have the light without the dark, right? All must be accepted. The yin and yang, the male, the female, like the all the oppositions have their role in the game of life. And ultimately everything that is happening to you, for you, with you, within you, is happening for your highest good. And the more you resist, the more you prolong the process. So whatever is bothering you needs reflection. Whatever you're feeling needs non-judgmental observation and learning, practicing, embracing yourself fully and completely as who you are, which is of course a lifelong practice, but it is what brings us the highest of vibes, is what I want to say. Because the lower we've felt, the higher we know we can go as well, right? And this is honestly, it's very late at night, so I don't want to raise my voice anymore, but these two cards are so gorgeous. This is an absolutely wonderful, beautiful reading. There's so much happiness that I'm tearing up, and this is a new chapter. There is an ending and a new beginning, and very strong energy of all of these cards, to be honest. This one is union, celebration, friends. It can be relationships, releasing to invite in the new is the theme here. And through it all, the more gentle we are with ourselves, the easier we can go through it, not feel like we are being met with these walls or these barriers or incredible challenges, rather that we expect life to change and we expect things to not be permanent, but with that in and of itself, we know that we're equally saying yes to the amazing moments and experiences, as well as we are to the less pleasant experiences. They all of the emotions, all the emotions that exist and all the experiences that can occur, they're all so different, and that's why life can be so colorful, right? Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. I truly hope this gave you some clarity and some reassurance, some guidance on where you're at right now, where you're moving forward to, and to what towards, and the mindset or like the attitude to that will help you move through this as smooth as possible. And honestly, being non-judgmental towards yourself is the kindest thing you can do for yourself, because that's when we truly start to embrace ourselves for exactly who we are, because there is no right or wrong way of being. We're all just human, and we're all living in this world and doing the best we can, and there's a lot of wonderful, great things that are on their way. And likely you already know about them. It seems like a very emotional period of your life, intense, and I truly wish you the best. Send you blessings, light and love, patience, and may you embrace exactly who you are. Thank you.